Here.
Can you, I don't think it's picking up at all because my voice echoes. I think we've had that problem before.
I will do that. Do you want me to do the whole thing over again? You're good. Okay. Well, what am I doing? Roll call. Tony, are you here?
I'm here.
Alana, are you here?
Yes.
And we have Mandy and Larry are absent, and I am here. So welcome to our library board meeting. We have the consent agenda to approve. We have approval of minutes from July's meeting, and then we also have approval of financial reports. Are there any questions or comments?
I move to approve are we approving the consent agenda?
We're approving the consent
I
agenda.
move to,
Nope. Back up one. We did not approve the order of the agenda. We do need approval of the order of the agenda.
I move to approve the order of the agenda.
I'll second that. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now we will move on to I apologize. We will move on to the consent agenda. So we do have the approval of the minutes and approval of financial reports.
I move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the consent agenda say aye.
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 Motion passes. All right. Next to our regular agenda, we do have a couple of old business items. So we have board emails, and I believe we have a tech person here to help answer any questions we have about a potential email change.
Hello.
Hi,
Sorry.
thank you. No,
Didn't
go
mean
ahead.
to interrupt you. Hello, board members. Maybe some of you have already met me about a month or two ago when I briefly helped with the recording. My name's Eric, representing IT tonight. She was able to inform me about some questions about possible email change to having the emails changed to your position titles rather than personal names. Just kind of get this out of the way. Should be a fairly easy change, just more of how to implement it on IT side of things. And in our case at the moment, not having a director at the moment, just running up that change to get that formally approved with everything. When it comes down to kind of the nitty gritty, essentially the two big options that at least comes to my mind, it would be either keep your accounts, change your emails, or create separate accounts so it's more centralized and more long-term, where as board members change, we can just change that information on those accounts. Pros, cons to both. If I had to make a choice, personally, I probably would lean towards the creating separate accounts, just so long-term wise, again, more beneficial, instead of trying to, every time board member comes and goes, create a whole separate account, trying to figure out getting all those emails transferred or record keeping, etc. I guess forewarning, I'm the help desk tech, kind of a little bit lower in the chain, so a fair warning, take some things I'm saying with a grain of salt. So, no, there was another general question of kind of just like general email structures, I'll call it, like, are the tabs going to get saved? How's everything saved? Again, if we go with the long term, everything, even separate tabs, even if you create a little book fair tab, that will be saved accordingly. So that's always based off profile. So, yeah, any questions for the moment?
Are there any questions for Eric?
No.
Tony, do you have
So
any?
ultimately, what are we going to do?
Well, so can you explain one more time your recommendation?
Recommendation.
Or which one you're leaning towards?
My recommendation, again, you guys have your more or less personal emails. Mandy's a little strange since he's already a board member.
Sure.
That's also part of why I'm suggesting long term we would create just separate accounts, so you would have a separate, entirely different email for your board positions to receive and send emails.
So not linked to our name, but linked to the position.
Correct, yes.
So then, and I'm pulling up the emails, but I can't figure this out. So so at the top, my first email says green, italics, and bold is what John responded with. It just went to Betty and I. Here's the thing.
Okay.
When I scroll through, do you see any green or bold
No,
or anything? The very, it's not,
it's not there. There's not a green, red, or bold from John.
okay, but besides that, so my question, and I don't know if it's to you or not, but if there's an annual change of positions, so then if, for example, we switch and I become president and she becomes secretary, we switch accounts?
Essentially, yes. That would be with that long-term plan.
Okay.
Essentially, if one of you had the president account, one of you vice president, you guys end up switching.
Yeah, please do.
Essentially, we would probably essentially change your logins, obviously reset passwords and everything, and you would be getting into the president email, vice versa.
So,
Are you trying to?
but I don't, so are you saying that we would have that account, but then also like one with our name on it? So we'd have two accounts?
Currently, yes, I don't know on top of my head, the current emails you have, are those provided through the city or are those more personal?
City.
City. With the idea, I'm thinking, yes, that would be a whole separate account. Because again,
I don't want two accounts.
okay.
I already have
That
like
one,
3 emails.
that idea, we would probably have to
Okay.
hash out how we want to
Because like, is there,
change.
like, just in Alana's,
Understandably, yes, your emails probably have a lot of stuff you guys want to keep and everything.
yes.
We wouldn't deactivate the old accounts. That case, part of that becomes, this is definitely something I probably have to run up the chain of. We go with that. How would we just try to do a mass copy of all your emails, slam it right on?
Okay.
That's where the nitty gritty gets in that I can't personally comment on
I've
at the
seen that before,
moment.
thank you.
Sure, and that's fair. I guess with like a switchover like that, that would be my concern
Yeah.
is, you know, I have my folders or I have certain things saved or that I've sent.
Yep.
And if Alana has sent a nasty email under a secretary email, but then I get the secretary title, I don't want that following me. Like, I don't want that paper trail to say, well, it's from the board secretary, but she actually sent it.
Maybe I sent a really nice email.
Sorry, yeah, I probably should have used that as an example and not a nasty email.
Yeah, I still have concerns. I understand both sides of
Yeah.
it, but personally, I kind of view it like you don't, for your position, you didn't take over somebody else's, the previous person's email who was in your position. And not that there is nasty or super positive emails going
No,
out, but
that is true. Alana has never sent, on public record, never sent a nasty email.
but
Simple.
yeah, I am personally uncomfortable at this juncture in my position in the board doing so.
Tony, do you have thoughts on the whole email stuff?
Yeah, I could be easily confused, I guess. See, when you start changing identities, and well, if you do
Yeah.
it more than once, or
And
3
that's,
times, or
that kind of gets onto the flip side of if we just change your accounts, just change titles, those emails, pretty much that's the other flip side of we just take your accounts, change the emails up. The slight headache, I guess, on our side would be if someone else switched positions and everything, we'd be starting to dig into kind of the other side of the nitty gritty of how do we switch those emails,
Yeah.
making sure they're operating correctly, etc. So, yeah, pros, cons to both. If you guys are just leaning on one side or to the other, we can definitely make either work.
Sure.
Just from
Okay.
my perspective, I lean on one side, but again, not entirely, it's not rocket science to do either option.
I guess at this point, I would make a motion, well, I would not, I would just move past this without taking action on it, would be my
Yeah,
opinion.
if there's no switch, I don't think we need to take,
But I think
a
Tony was about to say
Oh, yeah.
something, and I don't want
I'm
to.
just like, I need to get it in my head how this works.
Should we table it again till we have more board members?
Well, either that or more something. I mean, I don't, to a certain level, I follow, okay, change position, and you swap out the email that belonged to that position, or, well, it's messier than that, I think.
Betty, so I don't know if you received other emails from other people, but I am more than comfortable with the email I shared that I just couldn't put up with John's responses shared with the entire board. And then what I will do is move to table this until the next meeting. I thank you, Eric, for coming. I think you answered the questions we would want answered from the technical side of things, and I think it's maybe just within the board now. So at this point in time, I move to table it one more month.
Before we even, if we have a second, what do the commissioners do? Do they have,
On top of my head, they don't have like mayor at West Fargo, ex-commissioner at West Fargo. They are personal names, I believe,
Okay.
on top of my head.
so we have a motion to table it till next month.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, so we will table it till next month. Thank you for your
Hey,
time.
thank you
Eric.
for being here and helping out.
Fortunately, I cannot say I'm on call, so you guys have a good meeting.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your time.
You're not
Yeah,
going to
thank
stay
you.
for the rest of our riveting meeting?
Unfortunately, in case
home.
in case the server catches on fire, I probably
Absolutely.
need to go.
I hope not.
Go home.
But yeah,
Thanks for your information tonight.
Yes,
We
thank you.
appreciate
thank you.
it. The next piece of old business, we do have board statistics, and I believe that's really talking about and choosing the statistics we want to see from either month to month or quarter to quarter or something of the sort.
Yes, so last month I provided you, primarily one of the things that I am interested
Can you move your microphone closer to your mouth?
Yes, let me know when you can hear it, because I don't obviously hear.
You can hear it kind of echo. When you hear your own voice, you're being picked up by the microphone.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So last meeting I did provide statistics in the form of 2019. So the first portion of it would be, do you want these statistics that have been being provided to you with all of these graphs and everything, or do you want it to be in just the numerical version? It's totally up to you. It's at your preference, but if it's too much one way or the other, I'd want it to be to where it's easy for you to digest rather than just what we perceive would be good for you to have. So that's really what it's about. The more detailed of statistics, if there's some statistic that you absolutely just don't see as needed or you want to see as presented to the board, we can absolutely make those adjustments as well. But one of them was about the structure of the statistics and how they're provided to you. So if you want, I can present both versions to you as well.
I guess if the data is this, if it's basically the same, I guess to the board, I would prefer pictures.
I also prefer pictures, but what? Those are the two versions. Oops. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah. In the pictures, there's a mini, data page right here, or section. Would you be eliminating that or keeping that in there?
It's all your choice at this point. Yep. Whatever pieces you'd like to keep from different things can be kept. If you want to do a mishmash of them, it's Ellen is here and she's documenting your decisions, and she's the one who coordinates and correlates all that for you.
But it's all represented the graph represents the spreadsheet. Is that true? Yes. Okay, well then, here, I'll pass this down to Tony, but
Okay.
I prefer the pictures.
Oh, thank you again.
So it's all.
Uh-huh. Would, if we went to one or the other, would we have access to the other one, or access to the numerical, I guess, if we went to the graphic? Because it's generated by the numerical,
Correct.
I assume, so.
At any point, if you wanted numerical data outside of what is presented next to that graph, it can be presented. We just need an
Okay,
time to present that for you.
okay.
And again, if you wanted like a quarterly statistical analysis of what is improving in different areas of need or concern, we can do that as well.
I kind of am wondering if we should just leave it to the library director's
Their discretion.
discretion, because you know what the pulse of the library is. I mean, as a baseline, I would like to continue to see the information we are seeing in graph form, but I don't want to take action and limit you or force you into a hole that you don't need to be in.
Mhm.
Or maybe we're not understanding the question either, I guess.
Yeah, is that, I mean,
There's just different ways that people interpret data. And if you prefer interpreting data through the graph and the numbers beside it, awesome. We want that to continue. But if you are a numbers-based board and the graphs really are just fluff to you, that's fine as well. We just want to make sure that what we're presenting is being digested in the way that it's being presented, and not leaving any questions open or potential for misunderstanding between what the library is collecting and presenting to you. Does that help clarify? Okay.
Yeah, I can, for myself, I'm more of a visual person.
Okay.
And to me, the graph makes sense, and like, well, maybe I might go back into the numbers, but usually my read is I can tell usually what I need to know from the graph, and ask questions later.
mhm.
But I also know not everybody operates the same. So I would not deign to say, do it this way.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I guess I'd like to make a recommendation then, or a motion. I would like to make a motion that the graphs are presented, and that and then kind of guide the library staff at their discretion. Any other data could be brought that they feel is applicable in any form. That's my motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, pictures it is.
And just to confirm, the topics that are being covered in the current graph form of data sets are good for what is being received currently. Anything outside of that, Ellen and I would discuss before the director's report is submitted to you. So it could also be featured in that. I have even an example of that in this current one. But we just wanted to make sure that it's not an overload of information, and that it's not information that you deem irrelevant or that you want to see something different. So as we continue, feel free to, you can even inquire what statistics we're keeping, because we're keeping a lot. But we don't want to overwhelm you, and we want to make sure that it's helping you guys make those decisions that need to be made on the library's behalf.
And I think as long as we continue just to have open conversation, and if we would like to see something different, we'll ask.
Wonderful,
Yeah,
thank you.
but I think the current categories are great.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, on to new business. We have maternity leave.
So news. October 3rd is the due date, and with it fast approaching, I wanted to just have this out of the way. I have confirmed with HR as well as the lawyer on the city lawyer and HR, as well as with the North Dakota library law and the Century Code. The decision for maternity leave and compensation are yours to determine as a board of the library. So what I am requesting is a 6-week maternity if it's a normal birth, and then C-section, it would be an 8-week, which is standard. I'm requesting that that be paid, and then the next 6 weeks would be half work from home and half work in office, just so that way I can get acclimated and still be able to do my duties. So that is my request.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I don't know, Betty and I did have coffee this week and talked about this a little bit. It's a very exciting time, but as a board, I'm really torn on this individually because I've personally had a position that did offer me great benefits like this, but I, as a fiscal representative of the board, I'm concerned with the slippery slope with all the staff that we could potentially be opening this to and our budgets. And I had mentioned that I would like to hear from HR, but I do wish that we had confirmation of those conversations, either via email, but more than word of mouth, to make that decision. But that's just my Debbie Downer opinion.
And I can forward those right now. Part of why I didn't is because it is technically still, it's a fine line of my
It's
right to talk to HR, but I also don't
Well, and
mind
it-
sharing it with you guys either.
Isn't it a FERPA issue because it has to do with your health?
Yes, that's where I was not wanting to necessarily share because I don't want us to be going out of, but I have the numbers for Century Code as well as the library law, and I can even show you where both of them state that this is your decision. And as far as the budget goes, it's not any more of what is already budgeted for this position. I'm not asking for anything that isn't currently in the budget for this position, and as for future positions, it would be the same way. The budget is already decided before the year begins for an employee, so that would be my, that was also what was stated, is it the budget you guys approved already. This is just how you'd like to handle a maternity on that.
And just remind me, the city does not have a maternity leave policy.
Correct.
They don't
rely
have
on
a policy, or
FMLA.
they don't have a paid policy.
They do not
Don't
have
have
a
a
policy.
policy.
They just follow FMLA guidelines.
Correct.
Okay.
And FMLA is the first 12 months, it is up to the employer, and you guys are technically my employer.
Technically, the city is the employer, though, right? But we hire you. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
this
'cause
is such a muddy place to be.
Yep, so we are in a very
Yes.
interesting position, but that is the facts. And I have the Century Code and the North Dakota Law Library, or Library Law Code are 40.38.04 for you guys to have, and I can even pull up the wording for that, but it's very clear that it is, anything budget related is up to you guys to approve for my employee status.
Other thoughts? Tony, do you have any thoughts?
No, I don't understand why we wouldn't approve.
Yep, and Alana, I'll be pretty open here. I think I am on the other end too, that I would approve a paid leave at this time.
I'm not on that
I
end.
know.
I just want to
Fair
make
enough.
sure
Yeah, no, fair enough.
everything's in order.
Yep.
But it's a board.
Yeah, and I think if you know, in general, I would lean back to policy, but since the city does not have a maternity policy, and then if it is up to us, my opinion would be to approve or to recommend a 6-week with a standard delivery.
Do you have, are you able to share without FERPA? I've never heard of FERPA, I've heard of HIPAA. Information stating that there is no maternity leave policy on the books?
I have the handbook actually right here.
Great.
And I did even double check their, so for full clarity too, my vacation and sick time would be depleted before payment out of anything else. So according to, if my math is correct, that would be about 2 weeks of pay by the time, if October 3rd is the day, it would be about 2 weeks that we would be looking at where I would already be covered. It's pretty much the remaining 4 to 6 weeks. And I did check in about the vacation donation bank, which is an option. However, that is not an option for maternity. It is only an option for illness in the family, as clarified by HR. So, one moment, let me. Oh, come on. Oh, those are personal, okay. Okay, here it is. Sorry, it's a couple of pages of all the different things going on. So in the employee handbook, the most current version as effective of October 1st, 2020 is what I'm reading from. It is item 5.08, Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA. The City of West Fargo will comply with the provisions of the Family and Medical Leave Act by providing up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave for covered employees in a rolling 12-month period due to the birth of a child and to bond with the newborn child within 1 year of birth, the placement of the employee of a child for adoption or foster care, the care for the employee's spouse, child, or parent with a serious health condition, the employee's own serious health condition which makes the employee unable to perform the essential functions of his or her job. And then it goes into military family leaves, serious health condition defined, and if you were to look, the other titles are in this section under leave are holidays, police and fire have a slightly different, and then other employees, vacation leave, personal leave, sick leave, exempt employee time off, vacation donation, and compensatory time. So those are all of the types of leave. So there is no maternity policy at current. And again, the first 12 months are up to the employer according to FMLA.
Because I'd like to make a motion to approve, but I'm not sure how to state it.
Would you like to go for?
I was just gonna, what's the formal request? Because maybe you can go based on that.
For to follow the city's outline of utilizing my banks first, and then the remaining be covered, or, you know,
Paid.
paid,
Paid
thank you.
maternity leave.
Paid maternity leave for the remainder out of regular budget for the 6 to 8 weeks, dependent on the birth type.
Did you catch all that, Tony?
I so move.
How about this? I make a motion to follow the city's guidelines around FMLA and make a recommendation to grant up to 6 to 8 weeks, depending on type of birth, of paid maternity leave.
now I'm gonna sound crazy, but my only question is, do you want to do it for the full FMLA time? Or do you want to limit the motion to the 6 to 8 weeks? That's assuming, I mean, FMLA is 12 weeks,
It
right?
is, yeah.
So,
I
I mean,
can amend it and say up to 12 weeks.
it's not my motion, I'm just saying,
No.
if we're making the motion to cover the time, we're making a lot of assumptions, and hopefully everything does go great. But instead of
Sure.
having to come back in November to amend a motion.
Sure.
That's my opinion on the motion.
Okay. I will change the timing of the motion to up to 12 weeks, depending on birth and how the mother is in terms of health, and baby for health too.
Thank you for all that help.
Do we have a second? Right, we need someone to second the motion.
Is that my motion or is that yours?
I said it, so I will
okay.
take the first motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. She is kicking about and very pleased.
Well, we can't wait to meet her. Public comment options.
So this is sort of an add-on to the email discussion. It was just sort of a thought on, there is no way for people that we have outlined on the website for people to voice concerns or direct concerns to the board. If there is ever a need or a person wants to have a possibility of speaking to the board, aside from emailing you guys individually. So I was wondering if that was something that you wanted to have a separate email of public concern or, public comment, public input type of email where it's just that going there, and have that maybe be the secretary who's overseeing that, or have some other option discussed, and this is just a discussion point, to allow for the public, and so that way we can be clear on the website and with training of staff how to go about getting in contact with the board outside of just emailing the president or the treasurer, but if that is a method that you guys have found useful in the past, I just want it as clear as possible for the public side from us.
Like I see the city commission, they have a participating in city commission form that you can fill out. Like I would find that helpful. I don't mind filtering out emails, I guess. And certainly I feel like if we're gonna be on this public domain, I feel it is the right if people wanted to reach out to us. And again, that's my opinion. But what if we had something similar to like this agenda item request, that if they did want to speak to the board in terms of an official meeting, that they had a way to do that? And so that maybe that would go, I don't know if that then would go to you, right? Or to someone on the library in terms of putting it on the agenda?
Yeah, and that would be what we'd want to figure out. Is it something that you would want that form to be sent to yourself
Sure.
or the president's position, as well as myself or Alicia, because we can then coordinate what gets on the agenda, but that way it's not going to the board.
So it would be like accumulated and kind of sent to us, but put on the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be fresh and new and whatever when we get to the meeting?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, you guys would get the information that we would receive through that portal, and I think that was a great option, is the portal that the city uses. Currently, we can duplicate that on our website for you guys.
Right now, there's a very easy to find Ask Us tab on the side of the library page, and that brings it to a question, comment, first name, last name, phone number, email address. Could there be just a drop down in that. I know that's been used in the past to contact, and I believe that this goes to the director. And then the director would send it to who it goes to, but maybe there's just a way to amend this form. I don't think we need to recreate the wheel because this is very easy to see. Okay, so maybe we want to change where that goes to, or maybe there's a drop-down menu of, you know, because a question comment could be for the board, or it could be for a specific book. I don't know that we should dictate necessarily what this is, because this is blank, and so if somebody says, I need to speak to a board member, then that can be sent to a board member.
Are you talking right now about the Ask Us
Yes.
thing? Okay.
I'm just saying, if, you know, if we bog down too many options
Yeah.
for people to contact us, because our emails are on here, correct? I guess.
Well, the link to the city, to us, to the city is,
Yep.
and that would be my only, I guess, comment around the Ask Us. I think it's perfect for library services. But if they really wanted to get onto an agenda, I do think that's almost separate, because that's a city function. That's a function of a board.
Okay.
And that's just a comment because I think if they want to be put on the agenda to speak to us at an official board meeting, then there should be some officiality around that. And that should, I think, in my mind, since technically this is a commission of the city, it should be on that city website. But it's just a thought. I'm also used to, like, a school board, you have to get it in by this time and this date for it to be published, and you only have 5 minutes to talk. Like,
Absolutely. And that was part of where I was thinking of it
yeah,
too.
so for certain restrictions around, not restrictions, but just parameters around that. But
During COVID, we had a meeting where we did have the public come in, or were you guys on the board then?
Nope.
No, because we did have it limited. I think I genuinely had COVID then, so I watched it later. But I think they reached out to the past director, and then, because we do have to follow open meeting guidelines, people need to request to be put on the agenda, and as a board president, you can choose to accept them at any time. But if it's prior to the agenda being published, it has to go through a certain process.
so what was that process that you guys decided upon?
Well, for that one, we had limited, it was all on Zoom.
Oh, sure.
So that one was different, where I think we had allotted everybody 15 minutes to speak in total, and there was only 3 people, and they went under that. And our past director helped guide that along, and we worked with John to make sure that we were following all the correct open meeting laws. I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying this is a great idea. I just don't know if we are, how to direct it. I don't know if this is maybe a city question where we ask them to put a link on, or I don't really understand the direction.
Well, one of the things that happens just generically in talking about this is that I'm not sure anybody looking at a certain level with library interests, complaints, thoughts, whatever, are probably gonna be looking at the library website and might not have a clue, probably wouldn't have a clue about the West Fargo website and why you would go there. So that seems to be something to overcome somehow.
Okay.
I'm not sure how.
You should speak into a microphone. Thank you.
The way that our website functions is that we are actually part of the larger City of West Fargo website, so it would be very easy to have it multiple locations. We could have it included in that larger board stuff too, but also on your guys' board page, and we could even add another button near the Ask Us thing to submit. Very easy to do that, so.
Just so that it's fairly, somehow easier than it looks to me it is now, because I have a hard time sometimes going back and forth here, finding
Sure.
my agendas and things, like, why am I looking here? Just a thought.
Are you looking for board action or just support?
Just for this, you guys to mull it over. and
Okay.
If you want it to be an agenda item next time for you guys to take action on after some thought, I just didn't want the potential of a good idea to just sit in my notes. I'd rather share it with you guys and see what you guys think of it. If you did want to take action on it, that's your choice tonight. Or if you wanted to, present it at a future meeting, I can definitely ask the city and actually I think Ellen knows the answer to this, we can easily remake the form that the city commission utilizes to the standards that you guys would want. We do post the agenda a week prior to the meeting, so some sort of parameters around that is what you guys would more so need to take action on for us to be able to finalize it on our end. But it's really up to you guys how you would like to take this idea, and if you want us to fulfill it, we're more than happy to do that to whatever standards you'd like.
So, I'm sorry, I support the idea if it's, I mean, we're not taking action, so I
No,
don't know that it needs to
you
be
don't.
tabled, but just let us know the best ideas and I think we'll support it.
Yeah, in thinking about it, it's sort of one of those things where you might have to filter it and say, oh, this is a board thing, or this is these questions here, and we'll answer them. Getting past that maybe is what will help figure out how we need to do it.
And if you wanted, we could, we've got a lot of trials going on at the library right now. If you wanted us to trial out, for next meeting to show you what options and just put them live so you can see, and then we can discuss it then. So we could take action on our side of this is a way that it can look for you, and then you guys take action on if you approve it or what amendments or adjustments you'd like to see to it. We can do that as well. I just didn't want it to be where you didn't know that I was thinking of all sides. So,
Okay, great, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Next, we have homeless period and other resource kits. And I know I brought to Betty, I had seen a post on the Anoka Hennepin Library Instagram page, and they have menstruation kits, so kits with pads or tampons, just free to hand out to patrons as they need it, or I think for anyone that would come into the library. And I felt like, and again, the library is so much, and not to put one more thing on the library, but I think to support our community, it's one more way to support the community. And then Betty had brought up maybe some other types of kits too.
yeah, so I know personally at my house, I have a lot of hotel shampoos and soaps and things like that. I used to work at a hotel, so it's not that I'm a hoarder of them, but it's an idea that I've been wanting to do, so I am more than happy to see this happen. And October 10th is actually World Homelessness Day, so we do have a film being shown on the 12th in October for that, as well as we are coordinating with some of the nonprofits in the area to finalize a donation spot and things like that. So if it's something that the board would be interested in us looking into, we can see about touching base with even the local vendors or distributors of these products and see if they can even just do it donation-based to support this type of initiative and to see where it goes. I thought that it was a great idea that Leanne had presented, and so we just wanted to discuss it.
And my sister's done a couple drives for menstrual products, and for her, it was fairly easy to, create the awareness for folks, and then they had a pickup or a drop-off site, and then she was able to then distribute it to appropriate places. I also I haven't heard back, but I did email the Anoka Hennepin Library just to say, hey, like any tips or tricks or tell us more about that project. And it was something with the menstrual stuff is, you know, do we over Thanksgiving host a drive for menstrual products? And then, you know, I'm willing to chair that or do whatever to then divvy them up into bags or however we want to do that for then future use or future handout, so. But just any other thoughts? I had brought the one piece to Betty.
I think any way that we can connect with the community is great, and I think that's a great way to connect with the community.
So Leanne and I will
Yep.
touch base on that, and we'll
Sounds
keep
good.
you posted.
Absolutely. Thank you. Next up, we have director's report.
Oh, can log in as you using other user. Okay. Can you see, well, people can, I don't know what
You
what
wanna-
can be seen and what can't be.
We don't want to see your, we're going to be able to see your password.
That's what I'm wondering, yeah.
Yeah, it won't show, I don't think.
It won't show, it'll just do
Well,
the
no,
stars.
but when she types, we can watch the blue letters.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Oh, yeah.
There's a keyboard underneath that. Does it do the same thing though?
No, now we can't see.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank
I
you.
don't think down the password you will, though. I don't think.
Well, she hid the keyboard.
Oh, okay.
Am I logging in right? I'm still so not used to.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Oh.
Okay, thank you. There's a reason why I don't
Hold
work in
on.
tech.
Type just one letter. Okay, it didn't show up on the screen.
Okay.
The tech guy would be back here.
Yes, yes.
He left.
we're-
Poor Eric.
Eric left too soon. He knows too. I've become his favorite, I'm sure, at the library. So, again, my apologies for this not being set up already ahead of time. I will learn from this and be better prepared next time.
This is not a problem.
But with that,
Is it good?
I listened to it.
Okay.
It was,
into something.
Tony, have you read The Night Watchman? It's the one book, one community book.
What's that?
We're filling time over
Yep.
here, and we're talking about the one book, one community. It's the Night Watchman. Sorry,
Oh,
have you read that?
no.
It just came to my Libby, so I'm excited to get going on that one.
Yeah, it was fun to listen just
Okay.
it's in North Dakota.
Yeah.
book.
Can we
Well, this
plug
might
in
take
the
several minutes.
Computer?
Well, I think we each have the presentation up, Betty, on our computers.
I'm just wondering if I'd be able to plug in the laptop to this rather than. Well,
Oh,
yeah, but it
yeah,
also said
alright.
many minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, it's going straight to, all right. I just need the files.
So I am excited to read the book.
Yeah. Have you ever done a one book, one community?
Not like that. I've done a one book, one school for many years. And we did, 1 year we did the one and only Ivan.
Mm-hmm.
1 year we did Wonder. And it was I had a building, it was 3rd through 6th grade, so those two books were perfect fits for that. So, no, have you done a one book, one community?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I've read the books on my own, but
Sure,
I haven't
yeah.
participated in any of the activities that go along with them. Tony, have you? It's Coffee Talk with the West Fargo Library
Yes.
Board.
We can talk books all night
I
long.
haven't read too much for a while now. Anne Rice is my,
Oh, boy.
Aw. Okay, so the impact report,
Okay.
physical item circulation is going well, considering that we're winding down summer reading and everything like that. The electronic circulation is up, which is really nice to see, because we invest so much in that as a resource to the community. The door count is on par with 2021 numbers, slightly above, so it means that we're still seeing more patrons coming back to the library. Same with library card signups, and September is library card sign-up month, and so we have some fun things in the works for that, which will be reported on at the next meeting. So these are just some of the numbers, just raw data that you guys were presented with. And there is one slide in the director's report that I did slightly update since it was posted. And it was about who attended what. So, are we going to, there we go, okay. So, as you can see, this is for July itself, so that's why we have the little firecracker story times, foot painting that was going on. I don't know what just happened. Told you technology and I are not friends. Okay. So we did have a little bit of talk about attending the August 16th. So I truly appreciate you guys taking that time to come and speak with the community with me, as well as we have Friends representatives who are going to be there as well. The book clubs, we've been getting a lot of feedback that our library as well as our programming is being better received by those who are within our community as well as from outside of our community than what they had experienced at other libraries. So I'm very pleased to report that to you. We did add a physical suggestion box to the desk, and it has been utilized, not only for positive interactions being noted with staff members and with the community themselves, but also for material and service request submissions. I don't know, there we go. All right. So now when you go upstairs, if you try, go to the bathrooms, in between the bathroom doors, you will see this lovely coloring sheet that was completed by the community. It was something that we had trialed out last month, just setting out a coloring sheet and seeing what had occurred. And every day, somebody else was sitting at that table, if not multiple times a day, people were sitting and coloring. Families, individuals, as well as groups of people. So it was a really good experience. And we have upgraded to a 3D jigsaw puzzle, which may be a little intense. So we're testing out different things in that area as soon as you walk in, and that was one of them that we've found was very successful, and we wanted to show the community that we cared about their input in our and participation in what we're providing them. So that's on display. We don't plan on taking it down anytime soon.
I like that work.
Thank you. So more ideas and iterations like this will start to be displayed throughout the library as the community starts cultivating different projects together. We do now have a lactation pod at the library. So there was a small study room that was being utilized as potentially a lactation area for mothers. However, we were generously donated from Marvin Windows, a physical pod that is created for this exact purpose. We do have it to where people can rent it out for 30-minute time slots, and we have it set to 2 time slots back to back, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it twice a day, 3 times a day. It just means giving other people an opportunity to utilize it as well. We added a plug for your USB as well as your regular connections, as well as some mood lighting and making it to where it's a little bit more than just a 4 walls and a door room. So we're very excited about that, and we are now infant-friendly certified, as is the whole city, but we are very proud of that. The sidewalk and parking lot projects have been completed. The painting of the lines on the parking lot are the only thing that remain. That is to be done sometime by the end of August. We haven't heard any updates, but door 1 is our door to be used now, so we're spreading the word about that as best we can with the community. This was my favorite picture by far of the bunch from this past month. It is that little firecracker story time, and it is Sarah, our youth librarian, wiping off the foot of a child who had just done a painting with their foot. So our staff have been very busy with these updated story times. The increase in numbers has resulted in an increase of attendees, which is wonderful to see. But our volunteer hours were 49.5. The Friends had their meeting, which was very productive, and we're excited that it seems like there's a lot of positive movement for that. They are set to partner with us for West Fest, as well as to do Giving Hearts Day this year. So they are initiating those fronts, and we're excited to have that going for us. Just some statistics that are outside of what you guys have been presented earlier. As I said, if we see something that we are interested in sharing with you that we think is beneficial for you to see and understand, we will do that. And the explanations for why those numbers are different are below. We do have 39 new volunteers in 2021, and we have an additional 9 as of 2022. However, these aren't just one and done volunteers. These are people who are actually active and engaged and interested in providing time and their ideas to the community as well as to the library. So we're very excited to have them. This is the slide that got the most updates since it was sent out. I did do a little bit of an oopsies. I forgot to include that one of our supervisors did do a Dale Carnegie leadership training very successfully, and came back with a lot of knowledge, as well as I was not the only one who did the engaging adults with low literacy levels. So that was really nice to see that our adult services are being taken seriously by staff. The school library journal picture book Palooza I thought was just very, very cool. One of our youth staff are taking their dive into that whole training, and have come back with a lot of great ideas for that, for moving us forward. Free Book Fridays is still rocking out. We are seeing about 100 to 300 books being taken each week. Of those, the most recent 2 weeks had Star Wars and Star Trek featured, which Star Wars, there was nothing left after that first Friday. Star Trek, if you know any Trekkie fans, they may find some more materials this Friday, but I have a feeling they're going to be gone. But that was because of underuse of those collections themselves. Current finances are on par. We're at 48% for our financial update. We did have a meeting with the city board treasurer as well as myself and commissioner to evaluate the current budget as well as the 2023 budget and to finalize some inner details, which I will be able to present to you in September, so long as conversations continue, which it appears they are. So we are on par for that to be presented. Programming and outreach, technology tutors are doing a fantastic job. They did start surveying their patrons and have received resoundingly positive feedback. So there's some of it highlighted right there. Summer Boost did end July 31st. However, Red Day is the final kickoff of the summer program, and that is tomorrow from 4 to 6. I gave you all a flyer. If you can make it, it's wonderful. I'd really like to see you there because I'm going to be there as well. The new director meet and greet is next week as well. But we have the traditional Red Willow Dreamcatcher class going on Saturday. And the Little Red Reading Bus will be at Summer Splash. And that, I believe, is the last of the Little Red Reading Bus for the summer. So, news and marketing going on. Fargo Mom has been really wonderful to us, and we want to appreciate that, as well as the coverage for Job Service North Dakota being at the library by WDAY Radio. Thank you for approving the all-staff training times. There is a set date, which is Wednesday, August 31st for the first one, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. We will open promptly at 12 p.m. to the public on Wednesday. I have it structured to where those on circulation would be able to be ready to serve the public. When you have a moment, watch that CBS News clip. It has some ideas on things that I've shared with some of you during my interview time that I think you would be intrigued to see in reality. And I was pleasantly surprised to see them being captured in a news clip that was only 7 minutes long. But as a fun fact that is featured in our publicity right now is that there are more libraries than McDonald's in the United States. If you were to compare the numbers, it is 8.4 libraries for every one McDonald's. If you take that and break it down to just public libraries, we still outnumber McDonald's by 2,000 public libraries. What this says to me is that it's a marketing thing. Placement of the building as well as your community support influences greatly how you're seen and how recognizable you are to your community. And I'd like for us to be as recognizable as McDonald's to our community. So that's where we're going, and I just wanted to present that fun fact to you all. As you guys mentioned, One Book, One Community has been confirmed. Louise Erdrich's The Night Watchman. More details will be presented in September for their big events, but you can also find things on the website already about that. Oh goodness, memory kits. Of course, my brain wanted to misplace that word. The memory kits that I provided to you guys are from Kirsten Adult Services for you guys to just take a peek at and see what is inside of them. Thank you to the friends who did sponsor this with $1,000 to get this kicked off. Maternity is one of the vendors, as well as Relish is the second vendor for these kits. They are going to be distributed in the fall to those outreach services that we have with the elderly community and those who would be in dementia or other stages of life that are affected by their memory capacity to help encourage memory sustainability. So very cool items inside. Each one does feature references to resources that they can also find at the library. So thought that was a wonderful job. And we also are going for a Spark grant to cover some of the things that are in the 2023 budget. And that's part of why the budget is being looked at, is what can we potentially outsource at this time. And one of those is potential fun things to come, and as I get more details on if we are selected to submit an application, you guys will be informed. So, any questions for me? Thank you.
No, thank you.
Good.
All right, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there any other comments or questions?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Meeting is, all those in favor say aye.